Hello, I'm Mike Morgan, producer of the Grand Life Podcast, and welcome to our experimental first live video podcast episode.
Hi, everyone. It's nice to have you here on this Zoom call. Hopefully, you will enjoy doing this together with us. We don't have to wear our masks. We get to talk to each other as if we're in person. And I'm glad you're here. And I hope you enjoy this episode about cooking with your grands. And I would like to introduce John and Patty. John and Patty, welcome. Two chefs in a kitchen. Is that correct?
That's right.
That's
Hi,
right.
folks.
Hi, everybody.
Thanks for having us here. We're in Atlanta, Georgia, just north of Atlanta, and we got a sunny day, but it's still a bit chilly, huh?
It's still cold. Yeah.
But we're excited to work with you today and talk about grandkids and families and all that good stuff.
It's going to be great. And let me just say, if you're disappointed as a viewer that there aren't any grandchildren there, it's because this is our chance to train ourselves as grandparents before we bring in the kids. So we won't be bringing grandchildren in today, but we might do that sometime. You never know. Let's see how it goes.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why don't you explain to us how many grandchildren you each have, and then maybe we can talk a little after that about what what kind of background you come from and what you did as a grandchild.
Sure. Henry, why don't you start?
Okay, sure. Well, first of all, I'm Patty. This is my brother, John, in case any of you don't know. I have two grandchildren, both boys. One is 30. We just got married recently, so I finally got my granddaughter.
That's right.
Congratulations.
Yeah. And my grandson, John, who's 15, he's going to be 16 shortly. So
okay, you got a lot of experience on this.
Yeah, well, yeah. I like to think so.
Yeah.
And I have two grandchildren, Lily and Balin, and they are 7 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
So they're a little bit younger, but we have, thing about our culture, we're Italian.
Yeah.
You can't tell by the way we look. Our last name is Giraldi.
Yeah.
So that kind of is usually the giveaway.
Yes.
And we kind of grew up in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So
tell me a little bit about that. I mean, how old do you have memories of, how young were you that you have memories of being in the kitchen with your grandparents?
Oh, wow.
I can remember maybe 3 years old, 4 years old. As soon as you could reach we always said as soon as you could reach the board.
Yeah, as soon as you could stand on a little stool and reach where the board was.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
About the pasta. So
Yes, everybody was allowed to have a little piece of dough to play with, and you kind of watched and you just went along.
Yeah.
It was great
Did
fun.
Did you grow up calling that countertop a sideboard? Is board is that a shortened version of sideboard?
No, it's just, it was really a board. It was a great big, like as big as this, big wooden board that weighed a ton that we used to pick up. It was actually my grandmother's, because we used to go to her home, and she would have all of her friends come over, like for holiday and stuff. And the Kumatis, her friends, would come over, and we would all go and help. And they actually made, I don't know, tons and tons of pasta. Yeah. And then they just divided and drank wine.
So everything was, what I love about the culture is everything was a party.
Everything is fun.
Each of these families had quite a few kids.
Yeah.
So the moms would get together, and that's what in Italian, we call them Kumatis. They're a little bit closer than friends, but they're not family.
But they're not really.
So that was the expression they used. And like Patty said, all the ladies would get together, and these boards were huge. And they didn't have the pasta machines that we had. They used, it looked like a broomstick. They called it a baton, and they literally rolled that out
like this.
to huge round circles that then were dried and cut. So that's when we say, as soon as you could reach the board, that was when you got to play.
That's so funny, because you called them the Kumatis, and I assumed that was another Italian family down the street.
Yeah. It's great. We had great fun.
We had great fun. Yeah, we had a lot of fun growing up. All the holidays are special. And of course, baptisms and confirmations, you know, and all of that stuff
Right.
are major, major deals. And so, yeah, the more people you could get to help you, because the more people would come over.
Oh, sure.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, it makes it
Yeah.
easier. So let me just tell all the audience members that if they want to ask a question of you guys or me, they can go ahead and type that into the chat window, and our producer Mike will go ahead and kind of interject questions as they come up. So feel free to ask any questions as you're listening, everybody, or watching. I'm so used to saying listening because I'm not a video person, I'm an audio person. So anyway, we probably should get started, and tell us what you're going to make today.
Well, this is our potato gnocchi recipe, and that's a potato-based pasta. And this is the recipe that we were taught when we were little. We taught our kids how to do it, and our grandkids. And well, let me pull out some ingredients and show you what we got. So basically, instead of using, originally they would use actual potatoes and boil them, and then they were put through a ricer like this to process them. Today we can take instant potato flakes and hydrate them. So that's where we started here. And of course, you have the recipe for the exact amounts that we said.
Yeah, just all the exact amounts are on there for you.
Okay, we'll make sure everybody gets that who wants it. It's funny, you're calling it gnocchi. I always heard it gnocchi. So explain to me how you actually say it.
Well, we say, if you're from Rochester, New York, it's gnocchi.
It's gnocchi.
And then I have heard more like the New York City is gnocchi. And we just don't say ganachis or gnocchis. Those are words that we don't understand.
Good to know.
What we did is we took, it's about 1.3 cups of the potato flakes and added hot water, as hot as you can get out of your tap.
Out of the tap, Don't boil the water or anything and put it in there. What that does is it kind of kills any of there's a slight amount of yeast in here, and it kills the amount of yeast.
Yeah, so you just want that warm. It's got to be warm water. You don't want cold.
Yeah, no cold.
Good to know.
And to this, what we're going to add, I've got 2 eggs. All I'm doing is whisking them. I'm going to drop this in.
Okay. And
mixing the dough is
just mixing.
It's not it's not a huge complicated thing.
No.
We got a 1/2 pound of ricotta cheese, and we use whole milk ricotta. That goes in there.
Yeah, always get the whole milk.
Okay, good to know.
It works better in every recipe. When you get like the part skim and all of that, there's too much water in it. And you end up trying to drain it out, and trying to drain it through we use a coffee filter sometimes to drain ricotta. But it never comes out. It's never the same. So I always get
So if you were doing this with your grandchildren, would you pre-measure things and have them like in little bowls?
Well, it depends. To me, part of it is it depends on their age. But this is while Patty's mixing this, I'll just slowly add in the flour, and I'll tell you how we set up. So we're moving along here. So I've got 3.5 cups of flour, but I don't want to just dump it in there.
No.
You want to add it as you go, so that sometimes you might not need that whole amount.
And I can see my littlest grandchildren just,
absolutely.
we would have clouds of flour.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's the thing about what we do when we're setting up with the kids is we try to get everything laid out, kind of like we have here. But then what I like to do is I print the recipes out and I put them in a little sleeve. Okay. Because the plastic sleeve is so that you can wipe it off. Then what we do is we have, for each of the kids, we have a little notebook.
Yeah.
So we're making a special day out of it. And they put in here, there's room for notes. They might write their name on it. They might keep this. So each of my grandkids has one of these. We also will we'll make a big deal out of, just make it special. So the dollar store is your friend, right? You get a little hat.
It really
pick up an apron. So when they come in, they put their apron on, they put their hat on, they wash their hands. They have the recipe. And then I've also picked up, I want to share with you, these are just on Amazon. They're kitchen knives, safety knives for kids. And I think this package delivered was $8. And they're plastic, so you can, they're sharp enough to cut things like a soft pasta or fruit.
They do a nice job, but
you wouldn't literally. It's hard to cut a piece of celery or
you can't.
Onion
was that.
So they have their own knife, so they get their own little kit, and it makes them feel part of things.
I love it.
Yeah.
So depending on who it is, if Lily's here, she's in charge of everything. So she is 10 and she's a girl
She's
after all.
10.
So she will read the to her brother. Then she will take the measuring cup out of his hand and tell him he's doing it wrong and measure it for him. But this is the biggest thing that I've learned about doing this is there are no rules and there are no mistakes.
No.
Because I tend to want to say, don't do that or do it this way. And they like to do pizzas a lot. So we'll set up and do it. And I have to stop myself every time because I want to say, don't do that, do it this way, do it this way. They come out perfect. So it's just be relaxed with it.
Yeah.
And, everything plastic. Don't use any of your good stuff. Keep your good things, no antiques. Tell them a story. Show them that,
China.
Ricer.
show them the ricer and then put it aside.
Yeah.
And fun. So I might let them measure it.
Well, a lot of times, I
This
know
is
when
good.
my kids were little, they would want to know what the tools were. I inherited a little basket of my grandmother's cooking tools. They really looked like prehistoric to them. So we're like, what is this? There's like they're all wood, first of all.
Yeah.
And so we might do a little, I might say, see, aren't you lucky you don't have to use this one? You can use this. Or
Right.
they still remember that. They laugh and they go, Grammy, where's the basket? I go, it's right over there.
And we do things
still
like,
laugh at that.
we, I always tease them and I say, when you wash your hands, you have to wash and you have to do it for 15 seconds. And I'll say, some people say that's as long as it takes to sing happy birthday. Well, here we're going to sing Dean Martin. So get over there and we're like, when the moon hits your eye. So they, of course, get embarrassed and they laugh. But the next time they're in my kitchen, they're like, Grandpa, you didn't sing the song.
Oh,
So
there you go.
what it did is it impressed on them that you wash your hands.
Yeah.
And I always say,
So
I'm
Patty,
glad you asked.
yeah, no, I'm curious, Patty, I saw you went from using the spoon until it just got too hard and then you use your hands. Is there such a thing as touching it too much? Like when you're baking things, sometimes you shouldn't touch it too much.
I think I missed for this pasta, I don't know.
For this one, I don't think so.
We'll
But
check something.
there are different things so that you can, like sometimes like maybe a pie dough and stuff like that.
Pie crust,
pie crust. But this
It
is
still feels a little damp. So it's got to rest a little bit.
it's got to
now.
rest a little bit.
So what I would do is put some flour in here. And I don't know if you can see that.
This is kind of what you're looking for. You want to be able to move it around and you want all the flour to be incorporated in there.
And now this is going to set for a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's going to relax for at least 10 or 15 minutes.
At least, yeah.
But today it's going to be long enough for us to put this tomato sauce
Make the
together.
sauce.
And then we'll come back and work on this.
Yeah.
I
So
have to
we're
admit
kinda-
that, I really don't know much about gnocchi, and I thought it was pasta. Like I had no idea. I was like pasta with potato in it, but apparently there's no pasta.
Yeah.
Did you want to get in there and wash your hands?
Yeah, I think a lot of people do. I'm just going to wash my hands.
I mean, all I know is I love it. I love the taste of it. So I don't have a problem with that. But I used to think I didn't know you could like make it by hand. I thought you just bought it in the freezer section. So
Exactly. Exactly. Now, the thing about the ones that are once you try this, you're really going to love doing it yourself because the consistency of what's in the freezer is a lot heavier and denser. And that timing on that cooking is a whole different thing. Yeah, let's switch back. So our system is Patty's over here and I'm over here.
This is
So
my side.
we get all mixed up when we're on the wrong side. So what we're laying out here, you could 100% get your own sauce at the grocery store and put that, use that. But when we show you this is what we call our 15-minute sauce.
Yeah, it's the easiest thing.
And I'm going to let you describe it and you kind of
It's
go
just
for
the
it.
easiest marinara that you can ever do, actually.
okay, so when you say your own sauce, you mean something like a canned spaghetti sauce,
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, as opposed
okay.
to buying, like ragu or whatever.
Yeah.
you know, like,
You could get a jarred one, I
You
guess is what
could
I'm
get
saying.
a jarred one
Yes.
if
jarred.
necessary. But we usually have the kids just watch us do this because it's the stove.
Yeah,
but it's
very fun for them.
to learn. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go like once around the pan here.
With some olive. This is just a regular olive oil.
Yeah, this happens to be extra virgin, olive oil. And this is
Okay.
just a regular onion, was this a yellow onion, I think,
Yep.
John? We just diced it up.
For this, I used a half an onion and just cut it up.
Okay. So you just
Okay.
gonna start this. Believe it or not, this is what's gonna give you your sweetness in the sauce, because you're gonna cook it down, and whenever, you guys probably all know anyway, that whenever you cook these down, they do get sweeter.
Mhm.
So.
Oh, yeah.
And in the back
Yeah.
there, I've already filled a pot of water.
Yeah.
And I've got that warming up so that, that'll be all ready when the sauce is done and we've rolled out the pasta, we
Yeah.
can kind of do that all together.
Yeah.
Do you
Um,
always cover your pan while you're waiting for it to boil?
You know why I do that?
Yeah.
Because I had started it earlier and then I turn it down on low and I want to keep that heat in there. So I just
Yeah.
started that way. Talking about.
I just wondered if it boiled faster. I mean, there's some controversy
does.
Yeah,
over
it would
that.
if the cover's on,
If
yeah.
the cover's on,
Okay.
it does. Yeah.
But I
Okay.
do want to talk to you a little bit
Yes.
about when you are boiling any kind of pasta. You want to get the water rapidly boiling, then add your salt, add a good amount of salt, but we never add any oil to the water. I know
No.
Oh,
some
good to know.
people will add water, thinking that it's gonna keep the pasta from sticking together.
Oil, you mean. Yeah.
Or yes,
Yeah.
yeah, oil to the water, there we go. But what happens is it puts a little coating of oil on the
Yeah.
sauce or on the
The
pasta.
pasta.
When you put your sauce on it, the sauce slides in.
Yeah.
Oh,
And what were you saying the other
You'll
day if you're in a restaurant?
Oh, you see, sometimes you can tell when they do it in a restaurant like that. Sometimes, you'll get your plate and it'll look
Yeah.
nice. And you look all the way around and there's like a ring of sort of red water.
yeah.
That's why, that's what happened.
Oh.
They cook in such large amounts, and then they probably try to
Mhm.
redo it a little bit, and and they put oil in the water so it doesn't stick. And then, but
Oh.
nothing else sticks either then. Even your cheese has a hard time
Right.
sticking to it, if you do that. But
That's
that's why
great.
you see that, it's because they've had oil.
Yeah.
Water.
Yeah.
So that makes a big difference. And also you'll hear people when they're making a tomato sauce, they might put some carrot in there, or sugar, or
Mhm.
all these other things. If you just start with, and that's to offset the acidity
Mhm.
of the tomatoes, but if you just start with the onions
Yeah.
and just saute them till they're soft, really,
Yeah,
right?
just till they're soft.
And we're almost there.
We're almost there, I'll show you.
Then
Yeah.
we've just got a regular sauce that we're adding to it.
Yeah, just
and-
says plain tomato
Mhm.
sauce.
Plain tomato.
Yeah.
Yep, a few spices, and then, do you want to talk about the rind?
Yeah, and this is just what I think is it so much flavor too. Is so when you go to buy your Parmesan or Pecorino or any of that, always buy the black. Don't buy the grated ones that are already done. First of all, you don't know when they grated them, and you don't know if anything else could be in there. And this
Yeah.
way, and when you buy the black, this way you can grate it a little bit at a time yourself, and you have the benefit of the rind. Because what
Mhm.
you're gonna use this for, it flavors your sauces and your stews. And
Your soups.
Your soups, anything like that. So
Yeah,
it's
for
like
years we
a
used to just cut it
little
off and
bonus.
throw it away.
little bonus that way.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
and so if you say that, that will make a big difference.
Yeah,
So you've got your onions going. Are you ready for your tomatoes
yeah,
yet?
I think so.
Do you want me to
So-
try and pour that in?
Yeah.
Watch how
Here's a
we're
little-
doing this.
A little trick so that it doesn't splash back on you. I hope.
Oh.
you can-
You're
Just
doing
put
it
this-
on the spoon.
Just do it over the spoon so it doesn't
Ah,
back at you. Because you're
nice.
pouring cold into, well, lukewarm, I guess, into hot, and in this way it won't backsplash on you.
Oh,
And
that's
we
a
just
great
put a
little
little
tip
water.
to,
Grandma
little
said
water?
don't waste
Grandma
anything.
said, put a
Little water goes in here, and
Grandma
then,
said.
Grandma said, so that's why we do it.
and there's a lot of things that we do because Grandma said. So I
We
hope
do
our
it.
kids are gonna be
I
Grandma
know.
said, Grandma said.
Yeah.
And so.
Well,
I'm
and
gonna
that
put
is a
in-
great-
Today we're doing 2 28-ounce cans. Actually, I might not have to
We
put all of
might
this
not
in here.
have to, we got
Just tell me when
smaller,
information stuff.
Yeah, you can stop.
That is a great tip, because if you have your grandchildren pouring it in there, or you
Yeah.
pouring it in, have them hold the spoon,
it.
then they won't get in that
Yeah.
splatter.
Uh-huh.
Exactly.
That's kind of actually the first thing we let them do by the stove, because
Mhm.
we don't really want, we don't want them thinking that they can go near the stove
Right.
when nobody's around.
Yeah. Yeah, good thought.
You know.
It's interesting. Speaking of Amazon and buying those knives, they also have those chairs that you can buy that they can step up onto. They're like
Absolutely,
they're guarded.
yeah.
They're
Oh,
guarded
really?
around. And I don't know. Obviously, when you were kids, you didn't have those, and you just stepped on a stool. So obviously, you
just
can
have
do
those
it with a stool.
Or sometimes our dad used to work at the public market.
Yes,
So
he great.
he used to have these crates, these heavy crates. And I think corn and stuff used to come in. And so he used to bring them home. So
Or an apple crate,
Or an
yeah.
apple crate. We used to stand
Just
on
turn them
those.
upside down.
We used to
Nice.
So
stand
pretty
on those.
inventive. I'm gonna put in
Yeah.
this rind. So all I did is just cut it up.
Yeah.
And this is gonna
Oh,
basically
you don't
melt
grate
in
it. You just leave it
No,
in there.
just
Just
put
cut it.
the whole thing in,
Oh,
and what it'll do is it'll melt into the sauce, and it gives it a real nice flavor. You can, like I said, you can either use a Parmesan,
Mhm.
which is sort of a nuttier type of cheese, or which is a little sharper.
Right,
But they're both excellent for
So easy. I would never have thought to do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So now here, Patty already pre-measured, but we need garlic powder,
Yeah.
basil, oregano, and
Parsley.
parsley.
Yeah.
So we just measured them. We'll toss that
Just
in
put 'em
there.
in. Yeah.
Guess what? Your sauce is done.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
Wow.
add that it's pretty much done. I'm just gonna, you don't want to add too much salt.
Mhm.
Just
Because you don't know how much salt is
you
in the
don't really
tomatoes to
know
begin
how
with.
much is because they were in a can. I'm just gonna go around maybe a little bit here, maybe
Okay.
quarter of a
Yeah. So
maybe not
salt-
even. Yeah,
salt to
with
taste.
salt. Yeah, basically. And then just the same with pepper.
We're a little more liberal with pepper,
A
but
little
that's,
more.
I think we like
like it.
pepper, so we'll
Yeah.
do
I
that.
know. Yeah, my producer husband loves pepper on everything, so I get that.
So basically
So,
what
yeah,
we'll do,
basically,
I'll
this
put
is
this
done.
on the back burner and let that simmer.
Mhm.
It's about, we call it the 15-minute sauce.
Yeah, it's
So-
usually 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah. And
Once
we'll
it,
stir it, we'll go back there and check it. And this is just the right amount of time now to bring the dough over to start making our gnocchis.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Do you want-
Perfect. I
want
can't
me
wait
to-
to see how you do that.
yeah. So I'm
That's gonna
gonna
be really
This is the
good.
fun part. Let's just
So
turn it
let's
right
just
up.
turn it off.
Okay,
This
that's a
This is great too. This is one of those little, there we go. I'll unplug it so you can hear.
what is that called that you're using? It's
I
like
think
a
it's an induction.
It's an induction.
induction. Oh
right
yeah.
It's this one is Ming size product. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's helped us out a lot. We travel a lot of times and cook for people in their homes, and when we do videos away from home and stuff, we bring that, and it's really nice. It's really handy to have, and it works really well.
So I'm getting ready with the setup. So I've got a cookie tray and I'm gonna put, because our final product is gonna go on here. I'm gonna dust it with flour.
Mhm.
By the way, are there any questions? Or
Oh,
we
I
must-
know, we just.
Anybody
question.
have any questions?
We're doing good.
Just for-
Talking away.
yeah, but I think you're doing such a good job. We don't have many people asking questions. But seriously, if you have any questions, I've been asking a lot of questions.
Absolutely.
Just, yeah,
If you have any, please go ahead and
Mhm.
put them up there, and we'll answer them for you.
yeah.
Yeah,
and
nothing
this-
yet.
Okay. This
Okay.
is getting to the part where the kids usually come in and want to.
Oh yeah.
Actually, it's a skill that we could teach them to roll it out, because you're rolling it out into a
Mhm.
rope. And it's just kind of, we always tell them, it's just a method. Everything is a method. It makes it
Right.
easier if you do it like this. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
And
Yeah.
you'll see that I've got the flour
They're really funny.
in hand. We've got this set up.
Yeah.
We've got a knife. We got a couple of bench scrapers. And I think we're ready to
Right.
cut off a piece and
So all I'm gonna
show what
do
we're
is
doing.
just go in here and just cut off a little piece for each of us. And
I
see
don't
what-
know how anybody gets along without a bench scraper. I have two
I
of them
know.
myself, and
I
I use
love it.
them all the time.
You'll see on the inside like a little bit of air bubbles sort of there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know if you can see
Kind
that.
of, you probably can't, but
Let me see if I can bring it
it's
over.
probably kind of what you're looking for, but mostly can just do it by timing.
Am I
Oh
in
yeah,
this?
yeah. Yeah, you got it. You
Yeah,
can see it.
and you'll see it's still a little damp, but it's enough for us to work with.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I actually put extra flour on the board, because I know when we did this, it felt a little wetter, damper.
Uh-huh.
So the idea is you want to roll this out into a rope.
So you're
And are we in frame where you
Are
can
we
see
in-
what we're doing?
Yep, you're in
Yep.
frame. We can
with
see it.
your hands, like this.
Yep. So you go like this, and then you
Start in the middle
pull.
and kind of go out.
Yeah.
And if you do it like that, that's what the kids think is fun.
Oh,
That it-
and it's so
that it-
perfect for kids.
It stands out for them and they
Right.
think it's great.
This is where I use the bench scraper and I just cut them about an inch. Now, some in restaurants, some of them will just put them in the
Yeah.
water like this. We like to do this method, which is with, you take one of the little gnocchi, because they're now the dough's turned into a gnocchi, right?
Yeah.
You, with your two fingers, you're gonna press into that little piece of dough, little piece of gnocchi, and pull it towards you.
Mhm.
That's creating a little divot. And the reason we
Oh.
want that's gonna hold the pasta. Or
Can
the
you bring
sauce.
that? Can you bring that up a little closer for us to see?
Yeah.
Because I think we're missing out on the picture. How that works? Yeah, get it even closer. There we go. See, guys, how that
See,
is?
it's got
That's
the
so
little divot.
interesting.
So the way I
Yeah.
did that is I just used two fingers and pulled it toward me.
Okay, great. That's
And
like a
then
little
those go-
little boat to
Yeah,
hold the
exactly.
sauce and
Yeah, so just take your two, just slightly press down on it and it'll roll really easy for you. The
Okay.
kids sometimes they take a minute. They're really quick. They're quicker than we are.
Yeah.
They take just a minute to learn it.
So when I was watching, so I guess all the commodities, we were talking about that,
Yeah.
could do this really fast
They
because
could.
they
Oh
would
my
pull it
gosh.
towards them and push it away, and they were doing a little
They
factory like
did
you're seeing me
A
do
million
now.
of 'em. Yeah.
And
that
then
is so great. That's like Play-Doh for children. I mean,
it
it's
is.
what a
This is where I
great thing
use
for
the
them to make.
bench scraper, and I slide them on there and put them on the tray. And we're going to,
Great.
today, we're gonna do enough to,
We're doing
Uh,
that
make
to
a
make a nice
couple of
dish.
servings.
Yeah. a couple
we'll make our
servings.
lunch, basically. We
Yeah.
won't do all that dough, because that dough will make quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then are you're putting it on a tray with flour on it, right?
Correct.
Right.
And are you gonna bake these or are you gonna boil them? What do you
No,
do?
they're gonna get boiled.
Okay. I'm like, that's funny. Why are you putting on a tray with flour then? Just to keep them
Yeah,
from
it's
sticking?
one-
It's gonna help them dry out a
It
little
helps
bit.
them dry out a little bit better.
Oh,
Now, normally if we had more time, we would fill the tray, put the tray in the freezer, just like that, no cover or
For
anything.
10 minutes.
For
maybe.
about maybe 10 minutes, up to 30 if you
Sure.
want to. And what it does is it just solidifies them a little bit before it, so if you're
Mm-hmm.
if you're
We'll do
if you have that time, it's worth it to do it. And then what you do then, when you take it out, you want to sort of sift the flour
Mhm.
off, the excess flour, because you don't want all that flour to go in
Correct.
the water.
yeah.
It gums, it gums up the water. So
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Hey, so you guys as grandparents, are you the clean as you go type people? Like the 10 or 15
Well,
minutes
you
it's
would
in the
think.
fridge? Are you cleaning up whatever with the kids?
you would think so, but no, we kind of, especially if the kids are here, we try to tell them to not necessarily clean everything, but just when you're done with something, just put it over here and then we'll show
Yeah.
you, we'll wash it and all that kind of thing.
If we're doing one of our shows like we typically do, every 2 weeks, we have our show that comes on.
yeah.
Beams Out Live that we were telling you about. And
Yes.
that will, obviously, we can't clean as we go, but we have
Right.
always tried to entice our viewers. If anybody lives close by and wants to help us in the kitchen afterwards, they can join us for dinner. So
You need a tech crew. You definitely,
do,
I mean,
we do.
Julia Child always
we
had
need,
one.
we need Mike. Mike, when you're available, we want to talk to you. I'm gonna take half of that.
Well, when Julia Child, I used to watch Julia Child as a kid, and I learned
Me
a lot.
too.
But what I also learned was that she was a messy cook, and she used to just like. I mean, I remember watching her scale a fish, and the scales were going
Oh.
everywhere, and I thought,
Yes,
She was great. I love her.
oh yeah,
he was famous
was.
for saying, "What happens in the kitchen stays in the kitchen."
stays
I
in the
think
kitchen.
so.
She's like,
Yeah.
oh well, my
Oh, well,
scales are
just
dropped. It doesn't
I know,
matter.
I love her. She, I saw her the other day on one of the PBS channels, so she's
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
She's back.
Yep, she
Yeah.
is. We went to see her kitchen in the Smithsonian Museum. It was really
Oh,
fun.
I heard
That's
about
right.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't-
yeah, and talk about sideboard. Her counter had to be
Was insane,
lifted because she was so
Like
tall.
Yeah.
Oh,
Isn't that
yeah.
great? Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do here, Patty's finishing that up.
I just
I'm gonna
finished
bring
these.
this pot of water over so that you can
Okay.
actually see, because it's another technique in how we cook it.
Yeah.
And
I love it. Great.
The sauce is doing great back here. I just stirred it. I'm gonna give it a little taste.
Yeah, we got about
Run back and forth today.
we got about 10 minutes left. I think that will probably
Okay.
10 or 15 minutes at the most. So
good.
you should be able to finish that up.
Yeah. Okay, great.
And really, I can envision this with my grandkids. It's, it seems like a heck of a lot easier actually than making pasta. I've tried making pasta with my grandkids, and I have that machine thing.
Oh,
And I just haven't perfected it enough, and so it often doesn't work out. And they're so excited to see it coming out, and then I've made it too thick, and it's not coming out.
sometimes
right.
when the kids are really little, we just had. I think. Oh, I was telling my one grandson, Dylan, got married recently, and so they were here visiting, and John's kids were all here. So we had everybody over, and they're like, "Grandma, we want to learn how to make the homemade fettuccine." So we did get the machine out, and everybody helped, and it was really fun. It was a lot.
I think it'll be more fun. I've kind of put that aside for now, because I'm like, with little ones, you definitely, I think, with cooking with grandchildren, you really do have to have a sense of what's the most appropriate thing. And I know you were thinking of making pizza. That seems as an appropriate thing for little ones. I mean, all the sausage might get on one slice, but whatever.
So I'm gonna take a second. So that water is almost ready to a boil. What we'll do is, since these are soft, I'm gonna use my bench scraper, put them in this, what is that?
It's a strainer.
It's a strainer.
Just to strain out the flour. Like I say, normally.
Watch how much flour is coming out.
There's tons of flour.
Yeah. Oh, I wondered about that. Yeah.
So if we,
just trying to
crank
get this.
that up, it's almost there. If we
Does
were
it
to-
matter? Do you have to put them all in at once? I mean, is it a timing thing like with pasta?
That's why we have a really huge,
You always
Pot.
want to make sure that you have more room than you think you need in your pot, no matter what pasta.
Don't crowd
Don't crowd it. Make sure you have a lot. Make sure it's at a rolling boil. When
This will bring it up to boil.
you want it to be a rolling boil. Then you're going to take your salt. Okay, so take a good amount. Don't be afraid of the salt. Take like a palm full and put it in there as soon as it's boiling. The reason you're doing that is it's the only chance that you're going to get to flavor the pasta itself, no matter what kind of pasta it is. And when you're doing like homemade pasta like this, or like the fettuccine or anything like that, it's going to cook a lot quicker than anything from a box or anything that was frozen.
right.
Yeah, so it's going to float to the top much quicker within like a few minutes, and then just keep an eye on it. And pretty much when it floats to the top, I usually give it almost maybe another minute.
If that.
Yeah, if that, 30, 45 seconds before I pull it out. And then when you pull out any pasta, you want to put it directly into the sauce. Whatever whatever dish you have, just put a little sauce on the bottom, put your pasta in, and then you mix it together. Don't ever do what they used to do. You see on the jars. Is it good? Oh, good. You see on the jars where there's pasta and a little bit of sauce in the middle. So,
That's so funny because
I wanted to show you this. See the you should be able to see. This is the rind that you're saving.
Yes.
Typically we throw that out.
It's funny. So that's so funny that you said that, Patty, because I feel like most people do put the spaghetti on the plate and then they put the pasta sauce on top.
yes.
Oh, you're making a funny face, John. You're like, no.
Well, you know why? If you're able to put it in the sauce, and I'm gonna get a dish. I'm scrambling in the background, of course, to keep up with Patty, because these are gonna cook really fast.
I know you are.
If you put your sauce in the bowl and add your pasta to it, you can toss it, and it gives that sauce a little bit of a chance to absorb before it hits the plate.
Yeah.
It's not like the old Rego commercial where it was just pasta with a big lump of sauce on top.
I know.
Oh, I'm
That's
learning
just
so
our
much.
particular preference and the way we were taught. So if
No,
you
I'm
can
learning a
see,
lot.
these are coming to the top already.
They're starting to come to the top, and what you want to do, and especially because we didn't give it that 10 minutes in the freezer, just really lightly stir it, just to make sure they're not sticking together or anything like that. but pretty
Okay.
much they're not going to because of the size of the pot. There's
Mhm.
enough water to cook it. So,
Don't
you know,
crowd the
sometimes
gnocchi.
if you use too small of a pot and you're just getting spaghetti out of a box and you don't have enough water,
Exactly.
it all sticks together and it's all
Yeah.
yummy. That's why. If
So I'll show
anybody-
you what I was talking about, the technique. Take a little bit of sauce and put it in here and spread it around.
Okay.
Then I like to put a little cheese in here. By the
Oh,
time,
nice.
honestly, by the time I'm here, Patty is almost ready.
Almost ready. I can actually taste it.
That's great. What kind of cheese was that, John? Pecorino
This one is the
or?
Pecorino Romano.
Okay.
And of course, we'll
All
test
right.
I
this.
just
and
want to
see if
test
these are
this
good.
because they are to the top already. So
Wow.
that's-
So what are you looking for when you're testing it?
I just want to make sure that there's no like raw flour taste to it.
Let's see, how are we doing? Are you
We're
guys
doing
still there?
okay.
Oh,
Yep,
okay,
we're
good.
here.
My screen
Yep.
just changed and now we can see ourselves,
Oh,
which is
You know.
We're
So
still
does
here.
that
We got a few
sound
more
good?
minutes. We got about
Does that taste good?
5 more minutes.
So
All
we're almost
right.
there. Patty said 2 more minutes.
Just another minute or so. It tastes.
Okay,
We'll
that's
toss them
perfect.
in here. We'll put them in the plate
Mhm.
and we will be ready.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this.
I
This is
think-
our lunch.
Oh,
So
me,
to
I know. I'm
anybody
getting
in my neighborhood,
hungry.
You're welcome to join us.
I'm getting hungry,
Don't
and
be
I really
afraid
can.
if you get- Oh, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, don't be afraid if you get pasta water in there too, because
Yeah.
it just.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I
see,
always
this
tell
is-
people- Go ahead.
This is why I thought gnocchi was pasta, because you keep using the word pasta water and pasta everything, and I'm like, I thought it was.
Oh,
I
it
mean,
is pasta. It is a form of pasta.
yeah, it's potato
Yeah.
pasta,
It's like,
right?
yeah, it's like when you see ravioli, that's considered a pasta too. Pasta and
Yeah.
macaroni's got a broad, a broad range there.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you
I
go.
know.
So you're
see,
just
as
adding a
I'm
little more
doing
cheese.
this, what's happening is you're coating it. And one of the things you'll see is when we plate this, can I go ahead and just put it right in?
Sure.
Is it'll go in and it's still kind of pink. It's not
It's
so
not-
loaded down like you see some of the dishes in the restaurant that are just
Yeah.
covered with sauce.
Yeah.
We like
Yeah.
to have maybe
Mhm.
this much and then would you add a
Especially-
little more on top, do you think?
I
Or
would
you
add
just
just
add
a little
cheese?
cheese.
You just want to
Especially
highlight.
Any
Yeah,
of
you
you
wanna
guys
highlight
have been to Italy, this is exactly the way they serve it. There's no, someone said to me one time, well, it's not sauce and pasta, it's pasta and sauce. So you
Ah,
don't ever want to overdo, you know?
yeah, that makes sense.
It
I
is
think
the
that's true, because
leftover.
like a lot of
We bring
Americans
this stuff.
don't want to, they can't imagine just having pasta with a little olive oil and some,
Oh,
So this
oh,
is
that
what it
looks
looks
so
like.
good.
Doesn't this look great? You can
Ah.
see how that's held
Yeah.
It's
back.
amazing.
I'm gonna tease everybody and just taste it.
Taste the jar.
Well, and the fun
This-
part for the kids is they get to eat it immediately, which is so
They
nice.
do.
There's such a immediate reward.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's an instant gratification, right?
Yep.
And
I really, yeah, and they really get excited too, that even my older kids are like, Brittany, we made this. I mean.
it was
we
such
made
a
that,"
compliment
you
to
know?
have them come to us and say, can we do the pasta again?
Yeah. they
Can we
want to
make
do
our homemade sauce? And we did the same thing with the adult kids. They each had a hat, they each had an apron. We made them take pictures.
it. Yeah.
They had to sing the
It's
song,
very
they'd wash their
fun,
hands,
yeah.
all the nonsense.
Oh, my
This
goodness.
is what we wanted to share with you. Anybody that lives in my neighborhood, please come over and help clean in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And you can
love
try
that.
some of the gnocchi.
John, it never works.
Uh,
No. So any other questions or how did we do, Emily? Did we?
Oh,
learn something?
you did a fantastic job. I learned a lot, and I wish I could join you in the kitchen right now. But
You're
you're from
winning.
Atlanta, and I'm in my mother's kitchen in New Hampshire. As most of my followers know, I've been up in New Hampshire. We'll be here for a while to help her out because of my father passing away. And I just want to get in here and do something now. I want to get in there and cook. And I do miss my grandchildren. And I'm so excited when I get back to create notebooks for them.
Yeah.
I love that idea, John and Patty. I think it's great. So we will be looking for you on your channel. Tell a little bit of where you are again.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's, and I'll send you the link, or actually I'm on your Facebook, I could put it there. It's beams.live. And we come on twice a month, but we do 2 classes, one at noon and one at 5 p.m. And so it's 4 different classes a month. And it's all, we call it Discovering Italy in America, because it's all our homemade,
It's everything. that
Italian
we learn.
American, right?
It's Italian American. Well, what the reason we call it that too is obviously everybody probably knows that. Well, our grandparents came right from Italy. When they got here, they couldn't find all the same ingredients that they had
Right.
over there. So
Yeah.
they adapted a lot of the recipes to what they had. So that's for the Italian Americans.
Yeah, so we get to celebrate our heritage,
Uh-huh.
and we do a lot of comparisons. Well,
Yeah.
sometimes we'll say, hey, we were lucky to get these ingredients. This
Yeah.
is exactly how it's done in Italy.
Yeah.
This is how we do it when we're trying to get in the grocery store and there's only one brand on the shelf, which we're seeing a lot of lately.
Yes.
Oh yeah, a lot.
Thank
That's
you
so great.
so
This
much
is
for having
very,
us. This has
very-
been
Hey,
great.
thanks for joining us. Maybe we'll see you again. We'll see how we get, what
Sure.
kind of responses we get. Thank
Yeah.
you so
All right.
much. And I'm Emily Morgan, and thank you so much for living the grand life with us.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye.